Hello, Stanley Scott with the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank, reaching out to the African American community throughout the world. At this present time, enough people, enough of my people bullshit. And when I'm talking about my people, I'm talking about the African American leadership across the country, not just only in Jacksonville, Florida. But at this present time, I want to address African Americans in Jacksonville, Florida. The problem with the African American, the number one problem, let me put it that way, because there's a lot of pathology in our community. But at the present time, what I want to talk about, since for the last 52 years now I understand racism. Anybody who know me, you can Google me. It talks about the African American community, what we can do for ourselves. There have been many African American leaders before Frederick Douglass, going back to the Revolutionary War. The first person to be killed in the Revolutionary War was African Americans. That's right. The first person was an African American. I will go deep into that later. They have always, and let me say it again, they have always been leaders in the African American community. Yes, not enough, but I need to correct some things here that my people don't know. There are individual leaders and collective leaders. We get it confused. There are millions and millions of African Americans there who are leaders in their family. But it's a difference between a community leader. All us cannot be community leaders. Number two, one of the most important components when it comes to the African American leadership is that most of them are not subject matter expert in leadership. Now I'm talking about leadership. That means you are engaged. Now, I want my people to come back and tell me I'm wrong on this point here. You campaign for the office. I'm talking about the African American leaders for the last 52 years. You campaign. You ask people to vote for you. You ask for African Americans to vote for you. Understand what I'm saying? You ask our people through blood, sweat, and tears. You ask African American voters to vote for you. And they vote for you. And then you turn your back on them. That's right. You turn your back. African American leaders in Jacksonville turn their back. Once they win the office, they turn their back on African Americans. At the present time, when it comes to City Council Pittman, I'm gonna advocate for her. Yes, I'm gonna advocate for her because I've been in meetings with her. Yes, I've been in meetings with her, and she has stood up for her community. Now, when it comes to Joyce Morgan, she hurt my feelings because I have plenty love for her for many years when she was on TV. But as a city council, especially over in Arlington, especially when you have people in the African American community that you should talk to, who can help you, help Arlington. But are you reaching out for them? And then you have a family member that's in leadership with the Urban League. I'm going to go deep into that later at another time. Now, when it comes to the number one menace for African American leadership, well, number one I'm gonna say is Nubi. Listen, yeah, check it out for yourself. Nubi. It's a lot Nubi don't know. Nubi don't love his people. Now let me say what I'm saying. What I want to say, make clear, because I am a subject matter expert. I have credentials to back it up. I have accolades to back it up when it comes to civil rights and economics. Now, I want to let people know, and I have no problem letting people know. I don't know most things. Understand what I'm saying? I don't know most things. Now, I look it up now because I have a library. Yes, I own a library for many years with many books. So I read up on stuff. So that's helped me, yes. But when it comes to economics, especially when it comes to African American economics, I'm a subject matter expert. When it comes to community development, I'm a subject matter expert. When it comes to entertainment, I'm a subject matter expert. I ran military bases right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Right here in Jacksonville. And made plenty of, well, I don't want to talk about the money. But we won 6 worldwide awards in Cecil Field. And I won one at NS Hep Creed. So I understand money. I'm talking about going back in the 90s, early 90s. Well, in the 80s. I mean, in the 80s, yeah. Really. Yeah, in the 80s and 90s and 2000. I'm saying all that for a reason, because I want my people to understand when we have people in leadership that's dumb as a rock. And they're pissing on their people. Everything is not about racism. And I know about racism. I've been all in Alabama and driving through them country towns. I read about stuff ever since I was a kid. That's right, ever since a kid. My first civil rights activist work was at Rebo in school. Because right now I'm pissed. I'm pissed with my people. I'm pissed with my people. I'm talking about the African American leadership. There's many things we can do for African Americans. For African America, 52 years since Earl Johnson, Sally Mathis, right, and Alton Yates. Those are the 3 main folks. 3 main folks that betrayed us. There will be others, but I'm talking about those are the main folks. Look at our condition. 52 years later, look at our condition in the urban core here. Yes, there's African Americans making good money. Some making 6 figures. But look at the quality of life. What are they doing? Because if you look at some of my people, man, we're obese. We're obese, man. So apparently we eating good. So what are we doing with the money? That's all we do? Eat and raise hell with each other? And I'm not talking about all of us. But I'm talking about anywhere from 40 to 50% of us on the inside of the burning house. Yeah, you can be outside the house and it can be on fire. And if you're close enough, you could be burned. And so those are the African Americans who make good money. I know quite a few of them in my circle. Most of the people run anywhere from $50,000 up to $200,000 a year. African Americans, right here in Jacksonville. But they're not engaged. They go to a church, some of the mega churches, because I know who they are. I know who they are. I'm saying this is not something new. This is not something new. If you look around, you'll see. These same African Americans, before I go back to leadership, those same African Americans, they make good money. But they are not civic engaged. And a lot of them are undercover Republicans. I'm talking about African Americans, right here in Jacksonville. Okay, going back to leadership. When they come talk about African American leadership, especially in City Hall, I talk about school board later. When it comes to city council, you have 9 African Americans on the city council. Understand now, all of them are not Democrats. Right now, the president and the vice president are African Americans, Republicans. The vice president, if you go back and research, he was put in position in District 10. That's right. His ethics is not good, because let me tell you about his ethics. When it comes to his ethics, they went and got a house over in the area so he could move over in that area in District 10. Yeah, he didn't live in District 10. But the Republican got together, the Republican governor, right, got with the mayor office and other African American and Caucasian, and made that decision to put a Republican. Now, for all these years, it's been a Democrat. So, no ethics. You have no ethics in government. You have no ethics in city council. All right, now he's running at large. You think Freeman is engaged in what's going on in the African American community on the north side? Now, keep in mind, I want you to understand, every nationality should look out for their people first. Now, understand that. Stop playing these games. Don't play these games with me. There's nothing wrong with fighting. No, not fighting. I don't like that term. Advocating for the Caucasian race, the Asian community, the Hispanic community, and other ethics. Other ethnic community in Jacksonville. Why is it the African American community, who've been here the longest, because I'll tell you about that history later, because all of us are not slaves. My people, the African American, the Gullah Geechee people has been here over 15,000 years or longer. We'll talk about that later. Right now, so when it comes to leadership, there's none. In the city of Jacksonville, there is no leadership in the African American community. They say when the Caucasians have a cold, we have the flu. We have the flu. That means that whatever going on in the Caucasian community is going on in the African American community. That's what they say now. My point is, why is it that African Americans can't do nothing for their people? Now, and that's has nothing to do with racism. I want you to understand. Put that in your head now, because we get it messed up. We get it jacked up. Yes, racism has been around, but for the last 52 years since consolidation, most of the things that's taking place in the African American community is self-inflicted. The African American leadership has failed us. They bring absolutely no information to the community. Now, just understand what I just said. They bring no information. Collectively, they bring no information to the African American community. Now, it is the job of the grassroots leadership to get the information out. The primary job, once again, because that's the law, that's the ordinance, it tells you that you're supposed to have the people engage. That's the job. That's their job, to engage what? The people. At least get the information out to the grassroots leadership in these communities. We pay taxpayer money for them to engage us. Now, we have a job too to engage them, but the bigger job is for them to engage us. They receive money to post on the internet, to send letters out, especially to the grassroots community leaders. Why are they not doing that? That's right, people. The problem, see, with all other issues, and I'm gonna bring up an example of an issue that took place not too long ago. They talked about Lonnie Miller Park. The park director for the city of Jacksonville is African American. Yes, I know him personally. Now, I'm not jumping on him, but I'm holding him 50% responsible. Yes. You have a community leader over there, Eunice Bonham. If she need to get the information out that there's a problem over there, things need to be adjusted, I will go downtown with her, and she know that for a fact. I got her on tape. Many times we have been in city council advocating for the African American community. So people, stay with me. Stop messing with me. I'm talking to the grassroots leadership. Stop messing with me, because it's a lot you don't know. Now, we in the same meetings up there in City Hall on the 4th floor. The point what I'm making here, if there's an issue here out there in Sherwood, the grassroots leadership can make a difference. For example, there's a CRA. They had maybe sometime over $1 million, $2 million. Jacksonville Economic Development took the money. Yeah, got some Negroes, some ignorant Negroes talk about beautification. Sutil is not a rough area. I'm talking about going down Sutil. Now, it's a pretty good road. You may have some issues, yes, but there ain't no big issue that we can't deal with. I played a part along with Eunice Bonham and other community members on the road diet. Right. I was there when they also did the Legend Center with Mia Jones. Eunice was there too. Yes. The point is, I'm sharing that information with you, just let you know there are some people who are engaged, but there's probably about on one hand, there's about 5 people, along with the Northside Coalition. Ben Fraser people, yeah, they're consistent. Yes. But the point here, when I'm talking about leadership, there's a CRA. There's a CRA on Sutil that run down the Sutil to all the way over to Pritchard Road. So they have a good CRA, but they take all the money. I'm talking about the economic development, Kirk crew. That's right. Look at the numbers. You'll see a problem there. Why would they take that type of money on beautification that was not needed? It need to be cleaned up and all that. They pick up the trash. That ain't hard to do. That's enough money. You can pay somebody. They can pay somebody a decent job, $35,000 a year, just to keep deal with trash. It ain't that bad. I've been down there plenty of times. Now we need economic development over there, but that's another conversation, because right now we talking about leadership. So when on the north side of it, so when they talked about the fight over there, there are fights over there all the darn time. I ain't talking about just in that area. I'm talking about, for example, at Reebok. Over the years, you don't have 2, 3 fights. I was involved in Reebok many years ago when they had the riot. I was in one of the key players advocating for African American concerns. Yes, my nephew and me was involved in spearheading, because they would not allow me to play basketball and allow him to play football. They were so racist. And see, I come from Stanton playing basketball. But the point is, there's issues in the community. The fight was not the main issue. Yes, the killing is not the main issue. The main issue is you don't have leadership. Leadership that understand that it's a collective effort to get it done. Not one person every time you have a meeting over there in that area. And make it clear you understand. Every time we have a meeting in that area, one person want to talk about what they think needed for the community. It's not a collective. You got a little few people that follow, and they get up there and act like an ass. And we just have a meeting and nothing happened. We don't even have an end game. The point, what I'm making to the African American community in Jacksonville, there are many opportunities. Right on Sutel, to create jobs, not jobs. With the African American think tank, we focus on business ownership. Business ownership, having good business development in that area, will automatically create jobs. I need my people to get away from that talking about job. No, we need a segment of the community, the business community, to be in the position of ownership. That's how you get power. That's how you get to the next level. Going back to leadership here. You have opportunity because you're over there in that community. Because you have the Northwest Trust Fund. It started out with $25 million. Now, I am concerned about the fact that the city is not taking it to the tip every year and put it back up to $25 million. Especially these days and time. That's another conversation here. Because I don't have much time here, but I want my people to understand when it comes, we have a leadership problem. I'm talking about the African American community. Because my mother and father taught me that charity begins at home. It's things that we can do these days and time with the laws on the book to change our community. To decrease the pathology, not just the violence. Because that's part of it. I'm talking about the holistic approach to decreasing the pathology in our community so we can have a better quality of life. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm demanding. And that is the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. So, Newby, the president of the city council, Freeman, the vice president, shame on you, man. Shame on y'all. Sorry about that. Because I look right in the face of city council, and you know for a fact that you're not advocating and doing the right things for all people in Jacksonville now, not just African American, but we know for a fact that the African American community in the urban core has been marginalized for years, discriminated against, hated on, all the isms because of racism. But today you have opportunity You have an opportunity. And it's not because white folks don't want you to have the opportunity. It's your ignorance. It's your pure ignorance, man. Woman, why you continue to mistreat your people? And I'm talking to your state people too. Because I have met with you, talked with you. And not once have you ever talked about us sitting down and having a round table discussion and share some ideas from people within the community and look at those ideas and assist them. Because as a city council person, as a state representative, you're supposed to do everything you can to do two things. Educate them and find funds. That's your job. That's all y'all do when you go in the government anyway, is trying to find more money for yourself to keep you in office so you can get your pension. But you don't care about nobody else. You can do two things at the same time. You can take care of your community and build opportunity for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. But damn the fact that you act like you can't do nothing for good people. Good African American people who just don't know how to come out the burning house. They ready. I know they ready because I've been in these communities. They ready. But it take leadership. You know, I'm sick and tired of some Negroes be talking about we all leaders. We all individual leaders. And a majority of y'all are not good at that. Leading your own self, because I see your work. Yes. I see the work. I see it from the bottom to the top. I see it. When the African American community leadership wake up, things will change. And I want to touch on this part before I close up. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that about we need to pray. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear it from a woman. I don't want to hear it from a man. Talking about we need to pray. There's a time and place for everything. My mother come out a little place called Woodbine, Georgia. But she was very wise. Very wise. She even at the time where her physical death is long gone, her wisdom continued to live. That's right. It says, people, if you don't take care of your home, it will fail. It will fail. It will fail. That's right. That's individual leadership. But when you're talking about a community or a race of people, that's collective. So stop saying that shit that we all leaders. What kind of leader are you talking about? Yeah. We got a problem in 7, 8, 9, and 10. In Arlington too, or half of Arlington over there. Because they got in the deep part of what we call Arlington. Income is good. They make good money over there in the deep part of Arlington. Yes. But when it comes to the African, where most African Americans live in Arlington, it's kind of rough. It's been like that for years, because I remember the days when it was off the chain. When African Americans first moved to Arlington, that was up mobility for, yes. That was up mobility for African Americans for full time, because most African Americans before consolidation lived on the north side. Now there was African American who owned property in Mandarin and all that. We'll talk about that at another time, because yes, the history of that. That's a history they don't want you to know about. Yeah, let me throw that in there. That's a history they don't want you to know about African Americans. A lot of African Americans used to own all kind of property all over Jacksonville that was taken by law, by killing. But I don't want to get into that. I want to stay with leadership here. In closing, if African American leadership were able to wake up, wake up, there are opportunities for African Americans. Now, let's make sure you understand this part. I'm not talking about non-profit getting money for the city now. I'll clean that up now. But what I'm talking about is entrepreneurship, business ownership. Yes, cooperative economic, where I'm saying where 3 or 4 people get together and build a business, and you don't have to. You hear people talking about making millions, billions of dollars. No, you can run a good operation. That's right, you can run a good operation anywhere from $1 to $10 million in Jacksonville. I'm talking about gross, where you can employ people anywhere from 5 up to 50 people. Yes, we'll talk about that later, because that's available to African Americans. I want my people to know there's a lot of things available to African Americans. Let me say it again. There's a lot of opportunity available to African Americans right in the hood. Yes, and hood mean anywhere in Jacksonville. Yeah, y'all need to stop that too. People trying to do, talking about the hood is just one part. Because some people, ignorance, talking about hood is on the lower part of town. No. Nocatee is a hood. Sawgrass is a hood. Ponte Vedra, a hood. All that opioids over there. Huh? Man, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Let's stay focused. What I want to say to my people, I love you. I don't care what you think. I know we having a hard time. I understand why we're having a hard time. I understand. But one thing I know for a fact, that we must address our leadership. We need to, if either you're gonna do right, or we need to get rid of them. Put new people in. I'd rather try with some new people. Yes, try with some new people. Let's get rid of all of them. If they can't come up with a white page, and are they able to put together a white page, they should be able to create. Every African American city council member should create a white page every year. And what they're gonna do, what they think need to be done, and what we must do. If they're not doing that, vote their ass out. Once again, vote their ass out. And you don't have to wait to vote. Let me make sure, just before I go, we can drop the bum on their ass. I understand that. We can drop the bum on. We can blow their behind up in the media, especially we got social media. We can blast their behind now. These days and time, you can blast somebody. You have to know what you're talking about. I'm talking about. I ain't talking about slandering anybody. Know what you're talking about now. I'm not talking about slandering. I'm talking about facts. And you can blow their behind up with the facts, and let everybody, as many people, know how evil they are. I'm talking about African American leadership. They living good, eating good. And like I say, I want to throw this out here. When it comes to somebody standing up, I'm gonna have to go with Miss Pittman. Yeah, city council member Pittman, because I have seen her. She had really surprised me. And we need to reach out to her. There's a few things, because I did not agree with the fact that on Moncrief over there, Moncrief, with the gas station, you come up with all this for African Americans, but on the other side of town, the Caucasian They gather together all the time. Now, I ain't talking about that racing up and down the road. Yeah. And doing the donuts, yeah, and the donuts, I'm not talking about that. Because that's appalling right there. They did donuts right in front of JSO. That's another conversation. Because that's evil. Yeah. But I'm going to hold that on JSO. Because that shouldn't be going on in the city. Nowhere in the city. But when they talk about the African American community, you say Lem Turner and Dunn, African American was coming together over there with the cars and all that. If they not breaking the law or not loud, yes, ain't nothing wrong with that. As a meetup place, you just got to have some respect for people, especially when it comes to service and everything. But my main point, Miss Pittman advocated for that. Now, on the north side in the urban core, it's against the law. But on the other side of town, west side, south side, out there in Arlington, going toward the beaches, they meet. I'm talking about them Caucasian, Hispanics, they meet. That's not against the law over there. They're trying to understand it. Now, once again, I don't condone the racing up and down the road. That's stupid. That's crazy to be out there doing donuts. That's crazy. Yeah. And the police need to find the crap out, not the police, because that's not the police job. The police job is to arrest them. It's the judges and the state attorney office. Let's get that right too. It's the judge and the state attorney office that's supposed to drop the bomb. Find the crap out there behind. But I don't want to get into that right now. Right now we're talking about leadership. We want the African American leadership here. Every year they should develop a white page, regardless of community. Yeah, regardless of community. You got 19 city council members. Why you need 19? Because really, the at-large city council members, I want you to understand, I'm going to say it again, this at-large city council members was created to give the Caucasian in power, to keep them in power. It was created for that. The at-large. Now, because if you remove the at-large and see, you can go and change the charter. You can advocate to change the charter to get rid of the at-large members. And then we can talk about more equity for every nationality. But why is it that you have 7? Yeah, 7, is that correct? I may be wrong, but I think it's 7. But 7. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's 9. I think it's 9. I apologize for that, but I think it's 9. And why is if you have that many African Americans on city council and the African American community is in the condition that it's in? And I'm not talking about trying to compete with Caucasian, because it's very important that my people need. There will never be a way that it would never happen. It can happen, but it would never happen at this point where you can close the wealth gap. The Caucasian race have over 200 years of our wealth. That's right. There's no way you can close it. Now, what we can do just like when we had the African American Baseball League. That means you have your own race. You compete against each other here for business development. Yeah. Then that way you can see success. you can truly gauge what you're doing. But the way it's set at the present time, it's impossible at the present time to close that gap. And the people who are racist, they want you to keep themselves looking superior. Yes, because look at it, because for what it is. Yeah, look at it for what it is. How you gonna compete in a race where you 5 miles back? Right. How you gonna compete? Somebody explain that to me, because like I said, I'm not that smart. African American, if we had quality African American leadership, ethical. That's right. Ethical African American leadership. Then we can change the paradigm in the African American community. And it's not just in the urban core. You have fair leadership on any level in the African American community. And like I say, there's people out there who are leader in their own family, but when it comes to the community, they are MIA, missing in action, and that's a problem. I know quite a few of my friends there. They don't do nobody. They good people now. They good people. They live good. They got nice homes, cars, $100,000 cars. Understand what I'm saying? But if something break out in this country, say for example, I'm just throwing this out of a race war. We don't own shit. We can't even buy water. Right? We can't feed ourselves. That's another conversation. That's what I'm talking about, leadership. I just wanted to throw that out because that's leadership. That's leadership. That's what leadership is supposed to move you forward. Right now, African Americans are regressing. We used to get 80 to 90 cents on the dollar compared to a Caucasian, right? With a high school education. Now they say we're at 53 cents on the dollar. How can we grow like that? That's a conversation that we need to have the grassroots leadership and African American elected officials. Once we get on the same page, then we can address the other main issues going on in this country. Once again, my name is Stanley Scott. I'm with the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank. And we want to get to the promised land. If we want to get to the promised land, we need to do for ourselves. I mean, Elijah Muhammad said it. Frederick Douglass said it. Many others. Carter G. Woodson said it. My main man. If we're going to make it to the promised land in America, we must do for ourselves. Thank you.